Oh, we have Kaylee,
Callie.
Terry, and Taylor. Callie. Oh, hi. Okay, you're coming
Hi.
in. Hold on. Go ahead and turn on your camera. Oh my God, everybody's here. Hi,
You
everybody. How
are.
are y'all? Are you
Hi.
ready?
Yes, we are
Okay,
ready.
y'all. Sorry for that. I was running a few minutes behind. I apologize on my behalf. So just hang out with me for just a couple of seconds. I'm actually going to get really quiet for about 10 seconds and I'm going to feel, hold on, and I'm going to explain everything to you, but hold on. Give me a second. Um, okay. Funny. Interesting. Where are you going? Okay, so there's somebody that's like walking behind you in a good way. Essentially saying like, all right, are we doing this? Okay, let's go. Those are like okay. And it's almost like if somebody's preparing like that type of like getting ready for a run or something. I know they don't run like that, but hold on. Where? Hang on. A little bit more nonchalant and a little bit more casual. I'm a little bit suspicious. Okay, so there's this feeling of just like almost like we're going to be putting them on the spot. Um, and they're getting prepared for that. And but they're a good person. They're a little nervous, but they're acting like they're not. And hang on. Essentially, they say, like, I'm not afraid of anything. And I was like, all right. So that's like a false sense of security. Hold on. Why? They say, like, all together, all three of y'all are like a force to be reckoned with in a good way. So essentially, anything can happen, anything can get done. This also can mean that you work really well together. Hang on. Tell me. Who is that? There's another gentleman that's around here as well. We'll have to figure out who that is in just a little bit. Hang on. Oh, okay. So Terry is that's Terry. Okay, Terry is you. Okay, nice to meet you. I don't get to meet a lot of people with the name Terry. I like it. Hold on. Tell me, who is that? Miss Terry, though, is your dad crossed?
My dad passed away 2 months
Yeah.
after.
Does he really? Oh my God. Yeah, he's talking about, there's a gentleman talking about that. He goes, oh, don't worry. And they go, Terry. I said, who's Terry? And they obviously said hi. And they go, oh, her dad's here. And I go, oh, okay. And so like your dad says hi too.
Oh,
So they're walking around behind you. Okay, so now that we got some connections, let me tell you how this works. So number one, obviously, it's just going to be me. I'm going to have my little pen. I have my little notepad. All I do is scribble monotonously because your loved ones, when they talk in waves. So they'll give me a lot of information and then there'll be absolutely nothing. It's like dead silence. So in that dead silence, I get a lot of anxiety, and so this makes it go away. Okay. The next thing though is when they come in and they talk. How do they talk? Well, essentially, every spirit will talk differently, and y'all can actually, this is how they talk to you as well. So as we go through, I like to tell you how I'm getting stuff because this is also how you get stuff too. So they can choose essentially four ways of communicating. The first way is that they will give me a bunch of signs and symbols that I've collected over the years in my brain. Maybe they'll show me something like a pineapple. That means that they're from Florida. And then they'll flash all these images. I'll say some weird stuff, and essentially it'll end up being a sentence at some point. The second thing is that they will talk in only feelings. So that's what's happening here. So if they wanted to say something like, I was taken off life support, they would bring up the feeling in me of when I took my dad off life support. If they wanted to talk about how they love chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream, they would bring up the last time I had chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream and make me experience that feeling. The third way is that they will go in and they will talk by taking my own memories, other sessions, YouTube videos, books I've read, and they'll like splice out clips of these memories and kind of put them together and say, this is what my life is like, this is what their life is like, or this is what your life will be like. And then the last one is words. Sometimes they may come in and I may say something like, oh, who's Kelly? And they could be talking about somebody that's alive, and they can be talking about somebody that's dead. It does, so don't just like keep it in one area. But they may say Kelly, and that's because I have a cousin named Kelly, and I hear that name a lot. Whereas if they may come up and say something like Claire, and I'm like, is there somebody with like a Claire or like a CL or like a Cla name? And you're like, oh, Clarice. Now, I don't know any Clarices. That's not a name. It's normally in my repertoire, right? And so essentially they're going to get as close as possible. And so that's how it would show up. Okay. Remember, with all of this stuff, the only ways, say it, what were you saying?
Oh, when you were saying Claire, I said Clarence.
Oh, who's Clarence? Who's that?
That was my dad.
Oh, well, that's why. Okay. So real quick. So remember, I've been channeling all day. Okay. So even when I'm talking to you right now, and I just got done channeling. So the things that pop in my brain, there's a reason for it. So there's a reason why I chose Claire, because usually I say Thomas, if I explain it that way. So yeah, that would be why. And so since I don't know a Clarence, they're putting Claire in my head. But yeah, what essentially the only things that they can use are the things that I've heard, felt, seen, and experienced before. So if I seem like I'm getting really close to something, please let me know, because I haven't been out of the country. I'm from Texas. I don't believe in snow. I haven't been anywhere above Oklahoma. Okay, so remember that. So just stay with me. Hold on. Who is that? Okay, let me switch this up. Also, let me turn on my spirit box. If you ever see me look at my phone, it's because I'm seeing what I'm getting on here. So they can sometimes use this. And if I get something interesting, I'll take a screenshot and show it to you. I just can't zoom in on here. It won't let me do that. And then the last thing I want to show y'all is that I have these fun lights behind me. So this is actually my ghost hunting equipment. And sometimes it will go off in the middle of a session. Other times it won't. The real magic is when it goes off and you say, please move away, and it instantaneously stops. That's what's really cool. It was going off last session, but the two before, absolutely not. So they actually have to go up and touch it for it to actually go off. So if you see this, that's what's popping off. Okay. So hold on. Where? Yeah, they really like your dad, but your mom is still alive though, right, Miss Terry?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I said, so what's up with Clarence? I said, he's good at saying his name. I said, for being so, new at this. He's like, I'm looking after my wife. I go, oh, okay, well, that's good. And wait, it just made a noise. I don't know if we saw that though. Hang on. Tell me. Where? Whose is this? Whose is this? Mom, hang on. Mom, you didn't have a condo, right? Okay. No. Yeah, right. No, that's so random. Somebody's talking about, they show me an image of, or are y'all planning on going to like Florida and like staying in some sort of condo or something? Or is there like something like that coming up?
We're going to Florida, staying in a house. That's with my husband's family, though.
Oh,
well, they haven't had it for a long time.
Oh no, that's okay. So you're going to Florida coming up, and you're going with your husband's family?
Yeah, that's like in the end of May.
Okay, and so how long are you going to be staying there? Like a couple of weeks, or how long?
Just like a week. It's in Myanmar.
Okay. Oh, okay. See, I haven't ever been to any. I've only been to Orlando, and then I've flown out, and that's essentially it. So yeah, so I would even have to say that your loved ones are going to be coming with you, and it may even be part of your husband's family that's showing up because we're collective here. And so they're talking
It
about
could
going
be,
and staying
it
here.
could,
What?
it, my mother-in-law, her dad passed away. So I would guess it would be Grandpa Evil.
So yeah, so just wait, just make sure to keep your mind open because I know we're wanting to channel, obviously a single person, but believe me, everybody's going to try to show up at the same time. So we're going to have to figure out where these things go. And hold on, tell me why they're excited about that. Ooh. And did you have a hard time getting pregnant?
Yeah, so my first was kind of like a surprise.
Oh,
But then when I was getting pregnant with my second, I did have a harder time getting pregnant with the second.
you did. Oh, well, okay. They go like this. They go, oh, she's a mom. And I said, really? I said, I am too. I said, great. They go, oh, but she had a hard time, like on her last one, getting pregnant. Or they're talking about they give me the feeling of which means like, this is difficult. This is hard. And so they're saying that there was some heavenly, not interference, but to make that happen. And so they're just acknowledging that. And they're saying, tell me. How? Hold on. Tell me. Hold on. Demetria. Somebody has a very pretty, interesting name then. I know it's not Demetria. I know it has nothing to do with that. But hang on. Give me a second. So do you have a girl and a boy?
I have two girls.
You have two girls. Okay, who has like the younger boy? Who has that? Or who has that?
Our brother.
Our brother. Yeah.
Okay, that's the other one. Okay, somebody keeps talking about this boy and they like love this boy or they keep like bringing it up. Why? What's going on with that? Just happy to hear that?
I just don't think did they ever? They did.
Travis met.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I don't think Grandpa ever
Yeah.
saw him, but Travis
oh,
met.
oh no, they saw him. They held him. They brought him in here. Believe me. They would have seen the whole thing. They see everything. And hold on, tell me. I'm looking at here. It says I was crossed, but, and so they're literally saying like they were crossed, but they still saw them. So hold on. Tell me. What about him? Who? Where? Was like Travis like I was gonna say he's not a daredevil, which is funny, but he's not afraid to like get down and dirty, or he's not afraid to go the extra mile. And essentially he's joking. He says like with enough like liquor, or if you have a drink, you can do anything. And so he's like joking about that. There's just this whole funny thing. And he feels a little rough around the edges, but he feels like a really good guy. He has this like type of feel. I don't know how to describe feelings very well. And so, but I think his passing, why? It's hard for him to talk about his passing. I don't know exactly why yet. Every time I go into it, it's like pulling teeth. So just don't tell me though. I'll figure it out. Tell me, bud. Like he's like, oh, you want to get into that? Okay, I will. Okay, hold on. And which sometimes mean I just said crossed over. Hang on. Where? Had we brought where? But Travis didn't live next to the beach at all. Y'all lived near lakes growing up, or he was near a lake more?
Oh,
Okay, it's okay. Well, he just goes like this. Somebody showed me windsurfing. And then I said, were you on the beach? Is that where you lived? He says, no. He says, we didn't live on the coast. And I go, oh, okay. I said, so maybe he's bringing up water for some other reason. I don't know. But I know that they do that.
that was fun.
No, but do you remember? So like the last vacation we had in Pensacola, but do you remember when we were all on the beach after we did pictures and stuff? And I told you I had that one dream that like Travis was literally at the beach with us
Are you talking about when we were in Hilton
when we
Head?
were in Hilton Head.
Oh,
That was the
Oh,
first trip we had.
That was, we would take a family vacation every other year, and we
Yeah.
took one with Travis, and then last year Travis wasn't with us, so.
So our
And so-
first with Travis, that was when we were in Pensacola, Florida, and then the last one was Hilton Head. But we were at a beach.
You were at a beach. I would have to say that that would be a reference to that in him, because when I asked him, I was like, show me this vacation or show me what it was. He's like, oh no, I don't live there. So I'm like, well, how does that work? So I would have to say that that is in a response to that, saying I was with you, I saw it, except I was out there being a daredevil, you know, like windsurfing behind a boat or whatever it may be. That's all scary to me. And why? Tell me. Hang on. I don't know why. He turns himself bright red. He makes me feel like his passing was quick. I don't know exactly why yet. He keeps talking about that, but there's this huge. So like, I mean, obviously we don't like it when people pass, right? It's not a normal thing, but this means like more than average disappointment. And especially because how he's acting when I start talking about it. And come here, where? What? Hang on. He's a very smooth talker. He also, just like you can feel, essentially when they talk, it comes in almost like music. He has this, He would be good with the ladies. He would be, hang on. Hold on. Had he been like divorced before? Weird.
No.
He's like talked to but he was currently with somebody when he crossed, or he was currently dating somebody when he crossed.
Not that we know
not
of.
serious, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Oh, okay, because he go.
Yeah, him
Yeah.
and a girl that he knew forever, he probably always wanted to end up with. They were like the best of friends, and we've been in touch with her.
Oh, you have? Okay. Just because this is what he says. He says, good with the ladies. He was like, talk about my ex. And I go, were you married? I said, what do you, he goes, no. He says, we were talking. He says, but it wasn't anything serious. Essentially, that's
Okay.
like the feeling that goes with it. So I would say, talk to her about this. He does love her. He like thinks that that's like his wife, essentially. That's
Oh,
his.
Yeah.
Mackenzie, yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's whenever you say that, I get this huge like type of energy, which means like it's my everything. And why? Hang on. He's jittery. He gives me anxiety. Hold on. Or he makes me feel quite a bit. I don't know why yet, but he's a good spirit. He's a good person. Tell me why. Hang on. Give me a second. Why? So Travis is like a brother for y'all?
Their brother, my
Oh,
oldest.
it's you. Okay. I go like this. I said, who are you? I said, are you cousin? Are you best friend? Are you husband? Like, what's going on? He's like, no. I'm like your brother. And I'm like, oh, okay. Since I don't have a brother, I only have sisters. That's the close. And he's talking about how now he gets to be everybody's like angel, and he thinks it's very cool. And I would not expect anything less from him than the most interesting things happening in your life. Like the way his energy feels is that if you had, like a light flicker, or if you had like an interesting song come on, like that would be, there's some spirits that they can't really do that. I would say from him, this would be more than average or more than normal. And why? Hang on. Is somebody like about to get a keyboard for their kids to learn piano, or is somebody like thinking about adding in piano to their kids' repertoire?
I don't think so.
Okay, no, it's okay. Let me tell you why. So somebody just made me hear, and he made me feel a single note on an electric piano. And so this means to me that nobody like plays piano professionally, so you don't have like an actual wood one, right? But then I don't know, maybe one of your kids is going to come up and talk about how they want to learn piano, or maybe that's going to be a thing, or maybe somebody gets
Yeah, we have.
So-
She
We
grew up
bought
playing
her
the keyboard.
a keyboard, and every time the grandkids come over, they want to play on the keyboard. So we brought it upstairs, so it was easy for them to play on.
So like the keyboard is actually out in mom's house.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so it's an actual keyboard too. So that would
Yeah,
be yes. So all of that all together because he made me hear. I play piano, and so he made me hear like the classic ping. I'm like, what is this? So I would even say maybe turn it on during the day or at night and see if you hear a key. Okay, that could be another thing. The other thing that could go with that message is not only acknowledging that, yes, you did this, I saw this, it happened after my passing, and that maybe one of them needs to play piano. Okay, so all together. And why? Tell me. Hang on. Hold on. My mother is very particular around the holidays. And I said, no shit, really? And he's talking about how, hang on. What about them? Hang on. So did we end up, Kaylee, are we switching Christmas this year to somebody else's house? Like, have we made like this actual decision that we're going to switch it to somebody else's house now? Or what is that about?
Yeah. So I bought a house this past April. And so I've started hosting some not did I host Christmas?
You did
I
Thanksgiving.
did Thanksgiving. Yeah.
You did Thanksgiving. Okay. Okay.
Over there. We we
Did
spent the night on Christmas, didn't we? We went over to Callie's
Yeah, our
house.
Christmas
Yeah.
tradition this past year changed as well.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
did. Okay. Yeah. Because he's talking about normally it's at mom's, or normally mom is very particular. And then he talks about shifting this and he brings up you. So that's your house. Okay. So know that he knows he's there. He acknowledges this. He just wants to like try to make y'all realize that he's still in the loop, or they're all still in the loop. And what? This is going to be a random stupid question, but do we not like ham? Do we only do like rib roast or something instead?
That's so funny. Well, at ours we did the prime rib. We were talking about doing it, but
Did the prime rib?
no. Well, we did at my in-laws, and my mom was like, let's do something else. But my dad is very much like, we have to have this, we have to have that. Where the rest of us are like, we don't even eat that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So he goes, so it just said fatty ham on my spirit box. And I was like, what are you talking about? So I stopped and I thought I asked him, and then he showed me rib roast, and he's talking about these people being very particular. We don't need to do it. We need to expand out. And so I would even say this coming year, please change it. And then, email me and I'll let you know what you have for dinner, because he'll tell me that. And why? Tell me. It's the little things that they bring up that are interesting. What? Go back over here. Ow. Oh, why are you showing me that? Why are you showing me that? So did we not get to be with or like see your brother until after he had already crossed?
We didn't see
No,
him at all.
Like you did at all?
Oh.
He was working in Kansas City, and he passed
That's
in
why.
Kansas City, and
Okay.
I wanted to see him, and they said he would have to be embalmed to bring him back
Across state lines. Yeah.
across the state line. So
Okay. He's this is what he showed me. I said, so tell me about your passing. So he's giving me he's letting me in his brain, and he's giving me little images. Boop, boop. And he says, man, they didn't get to hold my hand. They didn't get to be there. Nobody got to see me. And then he showed himself being embalmed, or he showed himself after passing how this would be the only way that somebody could see him if this happened. And he's like pissed off that connection couldn't be made. Now that's just his personality, but like he's okay. He's at peace. I want to let you know that he's fine. And it just said mood. I agree. Tell me. And why? It's so funny. I was just channeling somebody from Kansas City right before y'all. So that's an interesting thing. Tell me. Hang on. It's like he's shaken up. Hang on. Can't me out of brick, man. Okay. It's like he's making excuses. Hang on. Did he end up like, I'm trying to get him to make me feel what it felt like. The only thing I can tell you is that he makes me feel like this affects my entire body all at once. Hold on. Hold on. And it's fast and he doesn't have any time to really think. Do you know if your brother was also, hold on, where? He's talking about getting paid more. Was he working in like the oil and gas industry or something?
He was a
out
diesel
there?
mechanic.
Diesel mechanic.
Oh my God, he's the diesel fucking mechanic. Sorry, excuse my French. I was getting ready today. I'll have my husband email you. I would bring him in here right now if he wasn't outside in the outside building. There was a man that hopped in my brain while I was getting ready today. And he said, wouldn't you believe I was a diesel mechanic? And my husband walks in a little bit later and I said, somebody's a diesel mechanic. And so right now he started making me smell oil and gas and heavy machinery and all that. And I'm like, what are you doing? And my husband's like, oh, there's another boyfriend around you. Like he jokes that that's how they show up and they do that. And so that was your brother. Your brother has been with me and he was very disappointed about his passing. He was sad about it. Hold on. Hang on. And hang on. I don't know what this is. All he talks about, that's all he kept making me feel, but he doesn't get crushed. He doesn't have, did they end up like finding him dead in his like a living in apartment?
In a house.
Yeah,
In a house.
in a house. Okay, that's okay. Because I said, where were you at? I said, were you outside? Did you get crushed? What is that? I said, I read somebody that got ran over by their own truck. And he was like, no. And he's talking about being pissed that people found him in this house or found him in like this this home or whatever this is. And how he couldn't explain the situation to anybody. And he was upset about that. And he keeps giving me the anxiety feeling. And I'm like, okay. And he told me, but he loves y'all to death. Y'all are his buddies. And he's like giving you a big apology. Tell me, do you know if he was also like drinking every night or was he taking stuff to make himself calm down?
You would know what
He,
medicine was taking, but
I can't think of what it was. He had something for anxiety, but
Yeah.
he wasn't taking it that much. But he would drink. In Kansas City, he was with friends there that he had gone to high school with. So yeah,
Okay.
He liked to drink.
he
Yes,
did like
he
it. He
liked
liked
to
to drink.
yes.
Yeah.
He enjoyed it. Okay, because he gives me all this anxiety feeling, and I know he's not taking fentanyl or anything like, well, that gives you more. But he's talking about how he's sorry for making me feel this. He says he's just always uppity, but he's calm at the same time. So it's more of an internal anxiety. And he talks about how he deals with it by either drinking or he has medicine to take for it. I go, okay, so that may be along with ADHD. And tell me, hang on, why? Where were you? They end up finding him in his master bedroom.
We
We
really
don't
don't know.
know. We don't know.
You don't know.
We've heard so many
It
different
wasn't
stories.
his house. It wasn't where he was staying.
Ah, gotcha. Okay. He's talking about being like in a bedroom and like going off near the closet. So I don't know if he like fell off the bed or if he like thrown back from the bed and like landed next to a closet door. Like there's something that goes with that. And he's talking about how this is where they found him. And tell me, hang on, hold on, why? But there's no investigation or anything like that. It was just death and then ruled and then what? Why not?
There was an
There
investigation.
was an investigation.
Why is it gone? It stopped already
That's a
though?
great question.
Yeah, there were two.
Yeah.
supposedly he was at a house,
Him
Yeah.
and another guy passed
Guy-
at the same time.
passed at the same
same
time, his
time.
friend, and they evidently went over to the friend that passed, a guy that he knew's house. So there were 4 guys, and they were going to barbecue, but we
Yeah,
don't really
heard,
know.
We heard there was 4 people. 2 people passed. 2 people ended up in the hospital, which I'm assuming Narcan or something was
Yes,
involved
yes.
for the other two people that are still alive.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah. Because he says he says investigation. No. Off. Done. And I'm like, why? Why? If this is said, because when they put question marks in my brain, that means like, why is this not anymore? Why is this not opened up anymore? And tell me, hang on. Tell me. Yeah, he's sorry. No wonder he's stuck. I mean, he's not stuck, but no wonder he was stuck in that place, and no wonder he was dealing with it and coping with that. Hang on. Come here, why? Hang on. So why didn't anybody go? So this is what he's saying. He's saying somebody knew, he fucking knew. So like he fucking knew. And he says, but like nobody's going after the bigger person or the bigger picture. So maybe they didn't even want to take like their next step to maybe find the other people that sold this
exactly
or got
right.
this. Yeah, why not?
The prosecutor said they know that the one guy he admitted that he provided the stuff that killed him, which was fentanyl. And he basically said it's not worth going after the small fish. We need to catch the big fish.
But that's how you get to the big
But
fish, is you catch the
that's-
small fish.
That's what we said too.
So somebody's in bed with somebody.
Mm.
Let me tell you that. Believe me, I have read quite a few of these, and we have also found out quite a few of the prosecutors are getting paid off by certain members of certain groups.
Makes sense.
And it's been, and that I found that out in Chicago and in Texas. I believe I followed a couple of these cases, and the people have reopened them with different prosecutors later on. And they find, so like, don't give up. If you can, wait for a year or wait for a couple years, wait for things to change, and then go back and do it again if you want to, because it will work. You just have to get the right person that's not having their pockets lined, essentially.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, your brother was, so that's the whole taking things. That's why he's keep talking about taking anxiety. So he took that. Hang on. Yeah, he's sorry for that. Hang on. Tell me. Why? Who had like the 18-year-old dog that died? Or who had the dog with like the really glossy eyes that died?
Coco just died.
Oh,
Oh,
that dog. Yeah.
the
Our
dog
grandparent.
was in bad shape.
your brother goes, your brother goes, that damn dog finally died. And I go, what?
Nobody
he-
picked up.
He goes, he's with me. And he's talking about this dog just
Oh,
staring
yeah.
off into space, which means that it's really old. And they
Yeah.
show it with the glossy eyes. So yes, so your brother has the dog as well. And tell me, hold on. That's cool. Why? Go back over here. Yeah, I'm going to tell y'all to try again, but try again in a couple of years. Hang on. Tell me. They brought my body back all tied up in a nice bow. No. Okay, what does that mean? Did we end up like getting him cremated over there?
Yes.
That's why he's complaining about that. Not complaining about it in a bad way, but he's frustrated about the situation, about him dying, so he's being sarcastic.
Mhm.
Okay. And hold on. Is it my funeral? It was an afterthought. Well, at least for me, not for them. I didn't want to die. And now I'm here. And this is why in the very beginning, he's walking around. He's like, okay, let's do this. Because he's having to not only talk about it, come clean, walk through it. It's really difficult. He's talking about his entire life just shutting down very, very quickly. And where? what do you keep showing me that for? So who's the March birthday?
Me.
You, Mom. Oh, he goes like this. He says, oh, and I can't even be there, something March birthday. And he was like, tell them happy birthday. So your son on the other side, which is right here, is telling you happy birthday coming up in March.
He passed on my birthday.
Oh, well, that's even wonderful. Nope. So that would be the double layer for it. So he's complaining about how this happened on your birthday. So that goes along with the line of sarcasm of him being like, and,
Yeah.
okay, and why? Hang on. Were you? Do you know if he had put on his driver's license to be an organ donor?
Yes.
I've never had that job. He goes like he's frustrated. He says, and I couldn't even be a fucking organ donor. And I said, what?
But they did use some of his things that I can't remember, his eyes and some other, because and people have made a big donation to that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Okay, sorry, that's a new one for me. That's even okay. Yeah, he's just talking about that. And why? He says, now I have no eyes. Like it's just layers upon layers. So he's talking about how, tell me, did you? I don't want a bike. So he used to have a bike. He had a motorcycle. Like, what is that? Okay.
Yeah.
What happened with that?
I think he rode it once and it kind of scared him, and he realized he needed to sell it. He liked
Yes!
to collect things.
Oh, okay. He says, and you know what? I said, you're a diesel mechanic. Did you have a bike? Yeah, I had one, but I didn't care about it anymore. I just get rid of it. You need a really big, like, vroom, 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 like truck thing, you know? And I go, yeah, I get it. And why? You have a bandana on. You're funny. Hold on. Tell me. Brody or Brady. Why? Hold on. He's talking about he must have credit card debt. He's talking about making money but being kind of broke. And I go, okay, I get it. And he says that, I'm working for the man. I was like, oh, okay. And now where are we at again? That's what he's saying. He's going off course. Now that he has the ability to talk, he's going to talk about everything. So talk about this. So essentially what we did is we tuned into his frequency where he's at. And it's like tuning into a radio station. And now we have him. Hang on. Where? He thinks that Mom is an angel. So he's the only boy.
No, we have a brother. It went. Travis was the oldest, Taylor, then Dylan, then Callie.
That's why. Okay, he goes like this. He just said that I was her favorite. That's why I was like, oh man. So
She called him number one son.
Yes.
So that's probably what that came from.
that's why. Okay, he goes like this. He says, my mom, she's an angel. Oh, I was her favorite. You can tell them all that. And I was like, all right. So I'm like, he's the only boy. And she what? Hang on. How? Is even the younger son, is he trying to have another kid?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, really? He goes like this. He says, and tell them I'm like Jesus now. I said, oh my God, shut up. What are you talking about? He says, I bless the babies and I hand them over. He says, tell my brother that he's going to have another one. And that's what I'm doing up here. And I said, okay, good. And no, hold on. Along with your dad, along apparently with your other half's grandparents, like they're all rocking it up here. And tell me, oh, it just said, I love you. Hold on.
Oh.
Tell me, he does. What are you doing? Is he like an 80? Is he an 87 baby?
88. He was almost 88, 88. He was 87, 88.
Yeah, 87.
Oh, he is
87,
just
88.
Okay, because he goes like this. He says, I said, so how old are you? He says, I'm just a little bit older than you. I go, really? I said, okay, I'm born in November of 88. And so that's why I was like, maybe he's 87. No, he literally is like 2 months older than me. And I know, you're cocky though. You're funny. You have a great personality. And he's humble, but he's funny at the same time. Hold on. Where? I'm asking him to tell me memories. Hold on. Oh. Hang on. What does mom need to watch out for? Hang on. Hang on. Couple of things. Mom? What? When is, but you never had any problems with like breast cancer or anything like that, correct? Yeah, good. Okay. Hold on. So I'm going to tell you there may be something coming up, not this year, 2025, but 2026, not cancer. But it's like you may think that there is something going on with the right underneath. Like you may be like, oh my God, there's a weird lump or there's a weird something like that. And everybody's going to get all up in arms and get a little bit freaked out. And this is not to say that you don't go in and get it checked, but what it's going to turn out to be, it's either going to be a cyst or it's going to be benign, which means not cancerous. So, and you're not going to have to worry about it. So essentially, but what they're saying is go in when you feel this, get it checked. Everybody don't get all up in arms. Just be like, okay, what will be, and it will turn out after a biopsy to be fine. Okay. But if you don't go get it checked, then it could metastasize or turn into something else. Right. But it's essentially saying don't get all panicked because they don't like that because they can't connect, but they're just letting you know to do that. And tell me, what about her? Hang on. Where? Were you? So Travis came, Kaylee, to your wedding? Like you had an actual wedding and he was there for it? Yeah.
Me? So
Yeah.
I got engaged the December before he passed in March. And after that happened, I had an aunt that was sick at the same time. So we just did a courthouse wedding.
You did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. He says, like, at least I was there for when my sister talks about, shows me my wedding ring, and I go, okay. And then he said, like, I was there when you got married. So he was there at the courthouse then when you got married. Okay.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, he said, that's deep. And tell me, hang on. Wait. Boo boo. What are you saying boo boo for? Hang on. What do you call your, we don't have a Taylor, right? No, we do. That's Taylor. Do we call you Tay Tay or something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. That's the only time I've ever heard that name. He goes like this. He goes, Tay Tay. And I'm like, Tay Tay, what is Tay Tay? And so he's talking about you. And do we also have like a child, and maybe one of yours, like a child of ours that we also call like a double syllable like that, like Tay Tay or Boo Boo or some, who was that?
Pay Pay. My
Pay
daughter.
Hey, Pay.
Call her Pay Pay.
That's okay. That's what I haven't heard. So she's getting this close with Tay Tay. So he's talking about your daughter and he's saying that he watches it and he hears this. Okay. And why loves your daughter. Hold on. Oh my God. He says she's going to be a doctor. And I'm like, so there's like that added, very smart. And what? It just says fun. Hold on. So where are you at now? Oh. And we still have a pair of his shoes. Do we still have? We do.
We have
Goes
a
like
bunch
this.
of his stuff.
That okay. Okay. Yeah, he picked up a pair of shoes like from the back and like held them, and he says they still have these things. I was like, really? I said those are always the first things that go away. And why? Hang on. He should have gone in the military. Why didn't he go in the military?
I don't know.
I know. He goes, he feels like he would have been great in that and like went, because a lot of people that are diesel mechanics, they were mechanics inside the military. And I said, is that what you did? He says, no, I probably should have. And I go, okay. And why? Hang on. Hold on. Mom, when your dad ended up crossing Were you like not able to say goodbye to him?
Yeah, correct.
That's okay. He goes like this. He says, I was really interested, or I was really excited when, her dad was passing. I said, why? He says, I was going to have a buddy. And he says, and mom has a lot of guilt and a lot of like hurt that she wasn't able to say goodbye to him, but that's okay. Tell him he's fine. There's nothing to worry about, that I have him. And I go, all right. And so that's that light. So he loves you and he has them. Why? Tell me when. Hold on. Oh. Was he like 33 when this happened?
Mhm.
Way to go, dude. Good job. Sorry. He put 32, 34, and then he settled right in the middle at 33. And I said, how old were you? He says, old enough to know better. I go, oh, okay. And he, why? Tell me. Hang on. Thank you for coming in my room earlier. You did a great job. Hang on. He what? Is there a hunter?
Couple. Oh wait,
Who's hunter?
never mind. I was thinking like
Like-
hunting as like the hobby.
Well, dude, that may be a thing. Yeah. Who hunts? Who was that? Was your brother a hunter as well, or who's the
No.
Both
hunter?
our husbands.
But I mean, Travis had the bow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
did
yeah,
have a bow.
both of our husbands hunt.
Okay, I would have to say that's where that's going. Yeah, because he goes like this. He says, hunter. And I'm like, hunter. So he's like making fun of your husbands in a good way. That's what he normally would do. And he's talking about why? I asked him about his bow. I said, how good are you at this bow? And he closes his eyes and he goes, thump. So he was pretty like decent at his bow.
I never saw him shoot it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because he goes like this. He says, I wasn't a champion. He says, but I could shoot my shot. And I go, okay. I was like, maybe you're pretty decent at this bow. And hang on. Oh, did he ever play drums?
Not drums.
No, but he was in band.
Yeah.
Oh, he was in band. Okay, so it just said drum and it said trumpet on my spirit box. So I would have to say that's so he was a band nerd. No wonder he can talk to me really well. And hang on, we're on the same vibe. Hang on. Tell me. Where? Hang on. Where? So was he like a trumpet player? What did he do? I don't know all of them. What did he do?
Tuba.
Yeah, there you go.
Tuba.
Oh, so he was, okay. So he goes like this. I said, so what did you do? Piccolo, oboe, and I'm giving him all of them. And he's making me hear like holding my lips together. And I don't see him as a tuba player, but I like that. And tell me, come here. I've never actually held a tuba. Why? Hang on. Tell me about her. He loves all of y'all just so much. And he's so excited to be here. And he's so excited to talk to y'all. And he's the person, like I said, that watches everybody, takes care of everything. He's almost like a helping spirit more than him just being stuck in heaven all the time. So like I said, you would see him, you may like get really interesting visions of him, dreams of him. He would be able to like physically touch stuff and like do interesting things. Why? Hold on. He just put a song in my head. Hold on. Take a look at my girlfriend. That's gym class heroes. Hang on. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. When did this come out? There's always a reason for it. Hold on. The Paper Cut Chronicles. Hold on. When did this come out? There's a reason for this. There's a reason for it. Hang on. When did it release? November. Hold on. Is there anything to do with 2006? Interesting. Anything to do with November or like a birthday or something or a death date for November?
My mom's birthday's in November.
Oh, your mom's
2006.
And
2006 is when he graduated.
graduated.
Oh, okay. okay, so yeah, so that, okay, see, I graduated in '07, so I'm like, oh no, '06 is not, okay, that's, so graduated with that, and then November, and that would be another thing. And then, is there a Travis with y'all at all? And you can say no on that, I'm just trying to, sometimes it goes deeper into a song than what I think.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Like, is there a Travis that's alive or would be significant in his life?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't, not that I.
No.
Okay.
It's
No.
our own
Okay.
Travis.
So let me tell you why I go a little bit further. So there was this, and you can see it a lot on some of my videos, but there's sometimes when somebody puts something in my head that it's the actual date, like of their death date, the whole thing, or sometimes it may be the lead role is like the name of their best friend that also died. Like there's these weird connections. Or one time I got Jailhouse Rock from Elvis that showed up in my brain. And the day that Jailhouse Rock came out was the day that the mother was born, the whole thing. And then her son that she took care of was actually in jail. Like at that same
Wow.
time. So yeah, so there's these weird connections. So that's how spirits talk. They try to use every method, and that's one of them. So I'd also say maybe listen to that song later, and there may be something interesting or like lyrics that go along with it. Or he could also be telling you to go and talk to his ex-girlfriend as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
and tell her
definitely
hi. That's what that is. Is she, and she's with somebody though right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
He says, I said, so is she waiting for you or what, bro? He goes, no, she's with some dickbag. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so like he's mad, but it's fine. And then tell me why. Tell me about her. Hang on. Is one of your husbands a lefty?
I mean, my husband golfs left-handed and
Oh, they
played
do.
baseball left-handed, but
Oh,
Travis
he
was
does.
Travis
Okay.
was left-handed, wrote left-handed.
Mhm.
He's a left hand. Really? Okay, that would be, yeah, somebody is talking about like, and I guess this is him talking. He goes, man, he says, you're holding the pen wrong. And I said, why? And he says, left-handed. And I'm like, okay, so that's him. And then he makes me feel male. So I'm like, maybe it's a husband. And tell me, I'm asking him to tell me little things that nobody else knows that are interesting. Hang on. Tell me. What? Hold on. He's just trying to show me that he was always the fun person. He was always the fun person. And it's almost like he's reliving from 13 to like 24 over and over and over again. And that's his age, especially kind of high school a little bit, but it's more for, how he acts, not so much. And because he could like backflip, like he was like athletic. I mean, not athletic in a bad way, but if he wanted to show up, he could like, he's just talking about, and he was as skinny as a noodle back then.
Oh yeah, he was skinny back
Yeah.
He keeps showing me an image. He goes, man, he says, I was cool. He's like, I could wear baggy jeans or I could wear them tight. He was like, I was tall, I was thin. And he was like, I thought I was cute. He was like, but maybe not everybody else did. Like, he's just going off. And tell me. So he was a little bit emo back when he was in high school?
He liked like rock alternate, like he liked rock music and some screamo and stuff, but didn't dress very emo.
Yeah, this is all he showed me. He showed me, and because you wouldn't let him get a lip ring though, correct? Like he couldn't get one?
No, you wanted one.
He didn't get one, so.
Yeah, that's what he says. I'll go like this. I said, so what did you look like? He goes, man, I could wear like the beanie if I wanted to. And he's like, I could look cool. He says, but I never, dyed my hair. He says, my mom wouldn't get, or I wouldn't get a lip ring. And I go, oh, okay. And he says, but I liked rock or I like this. And so your brother is like simultaneously living that timeline over and over again. And tell me about her. Hang on. And so you're still married to his dad? Mom?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. He goes like this. He says, I really hope dad's not disappointed in me. And I said, well, you can see him. And he was like, can you just tell him that I love him as well. So like there's connection with that. And he won. Hang on. Hold on. Oh. So is who? Do we call you Grammy?
No,
That's what the
no, my other son keeps telling his son to call me that, and I
Yeah,
tell him, no,
Dylan
that's not
does.
my name.
He says, call her Grammy.
Not
Call her
her.
Grammy. And I go, I don't think your mom goes by that. And so that's why I was like, what? So just know that he hears all that. Okay, so he's trying to make fun of you. These are little things as well. And tell me, it says I am. So he is. Tell me. Come here. He keeps trying to bring up. Hold on. I don't know. Were y'all gonna get matching date tattoos for him, but like never went through with it or something?
We got
we did get
tattoos.
tattoos.
You did.
Yeah.
Okay, did y'all get matching ones?
Her and my dad have matching
Two
ones.
Mhm.
That's the matching ones. Okay, yeah. He goes like this. He keeps showing me black ink. He shows me skin, but then he shows me simple, and then he shows me date. And I'm like, okay, I don't know. And he says matching. He says two together. And I go, okay, so maybe it's the sisters. No, it's mom and dad that have it. And so there's a big thank you for that. I appreciate you. And why? Hold on. What does that mean? California can kick rocks. Why are you talking about that?
Ah,
Did he ever go? What is California kicking rocks?
that's where
he
his
never-
ex lives.
Oh, that would be why. Okay. That would be right. Okay. I was like, do you not like it? Is there something to do something bad to you? And he's because we just came back from California this past weekend. So he's talking about that. And this also means that he was hanging out. Oh, he said that was not nice. Hold on. Tell me. What about them? Oh. Hang on. Hang on. Nice, big house. Okay. Hold on. Is one of y'all thinking about moving? Like again? Or is that like on the forefront of your mind in like the next year?
I moved this past year.
You
I
moved this
She has a
past
big
year.
house.
Jesse,
You have a
we always talk about, well, we talk about eventually just building our own house.
building. Okay. I would have to say it could go along with both. But it's like your brother. I would even say more for because you just moved and because he's talked, but this is not your house though, correct? This is mom's
not my
house.
house.
This is my house.
That's your house. Okay. Because I go like this. I said, is this the house? He goes, no. He says, the ceilings are high here. He says, but in her house, they're even higher. Or like in the living room, they're even higher. And he says, tell her that I sit on the couch and I go, and I just watch. And he's talking about looking at the ceiling. So he really enjoys this. And I would even say you, because you're talking about building in the future, because he says this would happen in the next maybe 2-3 years going into that area. I think that the opportunity is going to arise where you actually really want to do that, or there's going to be a big push to do that for some reason, or even move to someplace a little bit bigger. Maybe because of the economy, maybe because of what? Hang on. What do you mean? Are you not done having kids?
Me?
Yeah,
Yeah. We're done having kids.
you
But-
are.
Nothing.
We're done having, yeah, I'm not having any more kids. But
Oh,
You never know.
no, I'm not having any more kids.
I don't plan
I
to
know
have
you
any
don't
kids.
plan-
She says she doesn't plan to have kids, but Dylan, our brother, and Mandy, they're the ones trying to get pregnant right now.
They're the ones trying to get pregnant right now. Okay. Because we already talked about that. We already talked about him giving a kiss to this baby. But it feels like, so what he's saying is he's saying that there's going to be an addition to one of y'all's households, but he says it's going to be more like an oops or like a holy shit, I'm pregnant. Where did this come from? And so I don't know who. Okay, just like knock on wood. Okay, be very,
A
very
human
careful.
though, not
Yeah.
an animal.
Yeah, is it a human or an animal?
No, it's like a human, and the reason why he showed me my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law got pregnant at 50. I'm not talking about mom, but she got pregnant at 50, and so now my husband has like, you know, a 8-year-old sister. Okay, so very different. If you don't want to get pregnant, be really careful over the next year, okay? And then let me know, all right?
Good.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, no, your brother is a hoot. And usually when these things show up, it's because it happens. So please don't write me an angry email when it does, okay? And, hold on. Tell me, what about it? Yeah, your brother's fine. He's the person that helps everybody and makes sure that y'all okay. And he's not going anywhere, but he is pissed off about his passing. That doesn't have anything to do with where he's at on the other side. Absolutely not. But I do think that in the future, maybe even like 4 or 5 years from now, maybe even 6 years from now, it could even be when mom's crossed and y'all decide, hold on. I'm going to say this one thing, and because I haven't seen stuff like this before, I'm going to tell it to you the best way that they can describe it to me. It may be that in the future, they start opening things up for prosecution for people, or they look more into the investigations because of the fentanyl epidemic and how we're, you know, taking all that out. And I think that is going to make y'all want to open it back up again, or we're going to open it back up again. It feels like the reason why we open up it again is something out of our hands, and it feels bigger. So it feels almost like governmental or a call to action. So y'all will have to let me know, or what's going to end up happening is that I'm going to hear that on the news and I'm going to email your ass and I'll be like, did you do this? Is this a thing? And you'll already be on it. So just kind of keep this in the back of your head and let me know what happens with that.
For sure.
Okay. So for right now, y'all, because I do have to run to my next session, otherwise they're going to kick my butt. I want you to know that your brother is safe with all of your family and soon to be kids. Okay. And old dogs and everything else. And so I want y'all to just continue to talk to him and love him and keep him safe. And he did an amazing job. So take a couple of minutes, have a good breather, have a good ugly cry. And if y'all ever need me again, email me and let me know. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much
Thank
for
you.
your time.
You're welcome. I love you. You too. Bye.